Parshas Achrei Mos. Parshas Achrei Mos begins with the Avodas Yom Kippurim, which one time a year, as we all know, Klal Yisrael, on a national basis and an individual basis, receives kapara. And Parshas Achrei Mos begins with the whole Seder Avodas Yom Kippurim that Aaron HaKohen, the Kohen Gadol, would perform, and which we reenact today on a smaller scale, which means we can't have the korbanos that he brought, but at least we go through the words of the Avodah. And that's how Parshas Achrei Mos begins. And the Torah defines what Yom Kippur is: Ki vayom hazeh yichaper aleichem l'tar eschem mikol chateisechem lifnei Hashem titoru. This is the day that Rabbi Shalom gives us that we can l'tar eschem, to purify ourselves. Mikol chateisechem lifnei Hashem titoru. It's the day that we can go out and cleanse ourselves of our averis, which is spiritual uncleanliness and dirt, etc., etc. And this is the day we kaviyachol wash ourselves and purify ourselves. And I don't know how each of you feel, but everybody, I think, has a favorite yontif. For some people it's Pesach, for some it's Sukkot. My favorite yontif is Yom Kippur. It's the only time of year that I think I'm 100% sure I was mekayim the mitzvah. We say, ta'anu es nafshei seichem. We have to fast. You just don't eat, you don't drink, and you're mekayim the mitzvah. But more importantly, it's the time of year, it's the day of the 1 year of year I don't have to worry about anything else other than doing tshuva, which is a burden. But after that, you come out, you're pure again, you're purified again. This, in fact, was expressed by the Tana Rabbi Akiva at the very end of Masechta Yuma. When Rabbi Akiva writes, Amar Rabbi Akiva, Achrei Mos Yisrael, you are so fortunate, Klal Yisrael. Lifnei mi atem taharen, in front of whom do you become pure? Umi metaher eschem, and who purifies you? Avichem shabashamayim, your Father in heaven. Shenemar v'zarakte aleichem mayim tahirim utahartem v'yimer mikveh Yisrael Hashem maham mikveh metares atmeim avakodesh baruch hu metares Yisrael. Kaviyachol, the Rebbeinu Shalom himself, bathes us and purifies us and cleans us and cleanses us. And for that, Rabbi Akiva says, Achrei Mos Yisrael, you're so fortunate that you have this. So I once heard a question in the name of Rabbi Aaron Kotler, Zichar Tzadik Livrocha. Rebbeinu Shalom is the Melech Malchei Amlocha Mekadosh Baruch Hu. We appear him before on Yom Kippur, all dirty and spoiled and soiled. And the Rebbeinu Shalom goes ahead and cleans us, washes us. That's very good, but on the other hand, this is the Melech that has to go ahead and to do this. Isn't it embarrassing that the Melech Malchei Amlocha Mekadosh Baruch Hu has to clean us up from what we have defiled and made ourselves dirty? So what's the Achrei Mos Yisrael? Where's the happiness? Is it embarrassing that we have to have the Rebbeinu Shalom do this for us? So the answer to that question, I think, is that this is what Rabbi Akiva tells us. Achrei Mos Yisrael, lifnei mi metar eschem, avichem shabashamayim. Yes, it's embarrassing and humiliating to have to be cleaned up by the Melech. But no father is repulsed by cleaning up a child, and no child feels embarrassed by the fact that his father or his mother cleans them up. What Rabbi Akiva is telling us over here is, yes, the Ribbonei Shalom is the Melech Malchei HaMelechim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the King of Kings, but he's also your father. And may you be embarrassed from a king, but you're not embarrassed for your own father. And this is Rabbi Akiva l'shitosai. This is Rabbi Akiva's shita in many places throughout Shas. In the Gemara says in Masechta Tainis, Chav Hamad Beis, Shuv Ma'aser Rabbi Eliezer sheyard lefnei hateva v'amim esim v'arba brachas v'lanana. There was a drought, and there's a whole seder of how to go ahead and to bring rain, and we say tefillas. We have an elongated Shemoneh Esrei that has 24 brachas. This was the time, Beis Hamikdash, etc. So Rabbi Eliezer got up and he went for the Amid. He davened and he said the 24 brachas, Yorad and V'loi Nana, and he wasn't answered. Yor Rabbi Akiva, Achrei Rabbi Akiva then stepped in. V'amar Avinu Malkeinu, Ein Lanu Melech Elo Ata, Avinu Malkeinu, Lamancha Rachim Aleinu, V'yordu Gshomim. What Rabbi Akiva did differently from Rabbi Eliezer is Rabbi Eliezer appealed to the Melech Malchei HaMelechim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Akiva said, Avinu Malkeinu. Yes, you are our Melech, but number one, you're our Father. And that was his path to the Ribbonei Shalom. Not to appeal to the Melech, but to appeal to the Avinu, to the Av, to the Tata in Himmel, the God in Shamayim. And in fact, this sentence, Avinu Malkeinu, Ein Lanu Melech Elo Ata, this is borrowed. What we say in our Avinu Malkeinu. I don't know where the source of the others ones are, but this comes from Rabbi Akiva. This is Rabbi Akiva's shita. He's the father. First and foremost, he's the father. And therefore, it is Rabbi Akiva that goes ahead and says, Ashreichem Yisrael, how glücklich you are, how lucky you are, how fortunate you are. That mi mitar eschem, avichem shabashamayim. And this Mishnah of Ashreichem Yisrael speaks to another shita, philosophy, life motif of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva lived a long life, and he lived at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, and he lived after the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Now, can you imagine someone who was alive when the Beis Hamikdash was around and went through a Yom Kippur in the Beis Hamikdash, and all that meant, and had the Lashon Shel Zahiris, the crimson ribbon, turn white, and instant kapara? Oh, how beautiful it was. This is what we say on Yom Kippur. Ashrei ayin rasa. Happy is the eye that saw that. Rabbi Akiva was around after the Churban, where there was no Beis Hamikdash, and there was no Sorah Mishtaleach, and there was no the crimson ribbon turning white. This is a Yom Kippur? What are you talking about? This is a Yom Kippur? This Rabbi Akiva's shita in life, it's always to look at the positive and to see that Sadatayv. And Rabbi Akiva, who saw Avodas Yom Kippurim in the Beis Hamikdash, was able to say afterwards, still Ashreichem Yisrael, you're so lucky that it's the Ribbonei Shalom is purifying you. Many of you are familiar with the Gemara at the end of Masechta Makos, in which the Tanaim went after the Churban. They saw a fox running out of the base Kochei HaKochim, and the other Tanaim, the sages of the Talmud, looked at it and said, here where a Kohen Gadol alone was allowed to go in on Yom Kippur once a year, and now Shualim Hilchu Ba, and now foxes are running in and out? To which Rabbi Akiva responded and said, there were two nevuos. There was a nevuah about the Churban Abayis. There was a nevuah about the rebuilding of the Beis Hamikdash and Shivas Tzion going back to Yerushalayim. So Rabbi Akiva said, yeah, I didn't know whether both would happen, but once I saw that one of them happened, the Churban happened, I'm confident that the other nevuah about the rebuilding would also happen. That was Rabbi Akiva. The ability to look at the Tzad HaTov, to see the light amongst the clouds, which perhaps explains another thing. We are now in the Yemei HaSfira, the days of mourning, which we commemorate the death of the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, where the Gemara says they had 12,000 pairs of Talmidim that all died because of a Magefa, and that's what we mourn. Now, can you imagine having a yeshiva with 24,000 Talmidim? I can't imagine it. I mean, Beis Midrash Kavod Lakewood, probably the biggest yeshiva in the world today, that's 10,000 Talmidim. This had 24,000 Talmidim. But can you imagine how a yeshiva would go ahead and feel if all his Talmidim died? What am I doing wrong? Most people would not recover from that. Rabbi Akiva went and did. And he got up and he dusted himself off, and he went ahead and started a new yeshiva with 5 Talmidim, who became the sages of the Talmud. That's Rabbi Akiva. The ability to take tragedy, but somehow go ahead and recover, be resilient, see the Tzad HaTov. That's Rabbi Akiva that says, Achrei Mos Yisrael. You're so happy. Avichem Shabashamayim goes ahead and purifies you every Yom Kippurim.